Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next episode of your favorite superhero podcast on the Thursday night with once again me, your favorite moderator, Kevin Hirschfeld. But today, I'm not alone. We have a special guest for this special occasion of this special version of the podcast. Welcome with me, the one and only Jonas Herzog. Say
Hello,
something.
everybody.
Yeah.
Here's Jonas Herzog. Today I'm going to participate in the podcast with Kevin, and we are going to talk about superheroes.
Absolutely right. So, Jonas, let me ask you directly in the beginning, what is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero is that's a tough question because there are so many. But I would say Batman is my favorite one. Yes,
Batman.
Batman.
Okay, why
Yes.
Batman? Is there a specific reason for that?
Actually, I liked his costume when I was a kid. I often dressed up as Batman on Halloween, and so there's a connection to Batman since my early childhood.
Yeah.
And I also like the movies and, of course, the comics. So yeah, that's why Batman.
Yeah, I completely understand that. What do you think about his superhero ability? Let's call it being rich.
It's definitely a unique one because there are like superheroes like Superman who are extremely strong and others that can fly around, but he's just rich. It's definitely unique, and but I think it's also very cool because of being rich, he can buy a lot of gadgets that help him to solve crimes.
Yeah, I think that's also really cool about him. And I really wouldn't mind to have this ability to be rich as myself. I think it could actually be really enjoyable to help people out like that. But anyway, as you already mentioned, today is the topic. Once again, heroes or superheroes. So let me ask you this. What is in your definition a hero? What are like signs of a hero or themes or what is your idea?
Okay, so I would say a hero is someone who helps people that can't help themselves, and
Yeah.
someone who has unique abilities, who stands up from the crowd like that. Um, and in case of Batman, he is a hero because he uses his wealth to save people or to even solve crimes because that's what he mostly does. He's solving crimes. The police doesn't like that, but he does it anyway. So yeah, it's someone who helps people, who has unique abilities, and also a very special background story, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's what I would call a hero.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with these takes. I think personally it's often an idea of a hero is someone that helps the people that need help. They are often very self-sacrificial, definitely have a backstory that gives us the idea to how they turned out the way they are. And in general, I think it's a huge term that you can define in many different ways. So that's also why we had a fan poll, a question. We asked the fan base of this podcast, what is a hero? And the answers we received are it's usually one that saves the day with the mindset of saving the world, or even similar, it's someone that helps a lot of people, people with the best moral choices, and basically just try to save the day, or actually save lives. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, that's basically what a hero is, right? So I
it
absolutely
it
can
is.
understand the reactions of the fans. Nice.
I mean, some even argue it's a lot about character development And I think every answer you can get is right. There isn't necessarily a wrong, because saving people is definitely a trait. Having specific character development is a trait, as we can see in cases like Spider-Man or Batman in the later versions. But even a simple answer like the last one, being superheroes, they are just the ones that defeat the bad guys, is not necessarily wrong, I would say.
True, that's true.
That's definitely true. That's why we came to the conclusion today. Yeah, it's someone saving people, fighting crime, has the courage to stand in for those in need, act as an inspiration, are self-sacrificial and especially human. But Jonas, what if I told you we are not specifically talking about us known usually heroes today?
Okay, I'm excited. What
You're
you got for
excited.
me?
Okay, that's good, because as mentioned earlier, this isn't the usual version of the podcast, but rather a special edition today, because we are gonna talk about My Hero Academia. This is I don't know. Do you know My Hero Academia?
Oh yeah, I have already heard about it. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure what it is about actually, but I have heard about it. I think it's something about kids or youth who are becoming very strong superheroes
Yeah.
and to obviously once again help people.
Yeah, that's not bad. It definitely fits the description, especially with the kid we can see on the top. So, for
Hmm.
starters, everyone that doesn't know My Hero Academia, it's a Japanese manga, so basically the Japanese equivalent to the us known superhero comics from the Western. It's, as you can guess, set in an action adventure and fantasy genre, has currently 430 chapters, because it's going to end soon, and used to publish weekly for the last 10 years. On the bottom left, we can see the author, Kohei Horikoshi, which attended the University of Art in Nagoya and is known for other series or one-shots like Omaga Dokizu or Bulge of the Battlestar. Anyway, since you already teased what My Hero Academia is about, let's give you all a brief description. It's basically a world with superpowers that are called quirks, and as you could have guessed, lots of heroes and villains. We followed the story of Isekenmeier. It's a boy that was unlucky enough to not be born with a superpower, which is why he used to be bullied at school because all the other kids had one. But despite,
So it
yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, no,
So
it's
it's
fine.
basically a world where everyone is born with a superpower, but our main character doesn't have the superpower, and that's why he is like he wants to be a superhero too, but he can't.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a
Okay.
very rare case to be born without a ability, and he happened to be one of those children that don't have one. But it has always been his dream to be a hero, which is why, despite having no abilities, he still tried to aim for the UA high school, which is basically the top high school for kids that plan to become an amazing hero later on.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
as mentioned, he, despite being bullied at school, he still wanted to be a hero, even without a power. Which is why, one day he suddenly happened to encounter his favorite hero, being the number one top hero called All Might. And this fateful encounter changed his life completely, because All Might had the ability to transfer his power to this kid, which is specifically settled for just this power alone.
Hmm.
And this is how our entire story begins, of a boy without a power suddenly having one and trying to climb this ladder to his dream to be the world's greatest hero.
Okay.
Do you?
I
Yeah.
mean, he could have still tried to get rich, like
Yeah.
just like Batman.
Definitely. But I'm not sure if it could work out just as well as in the Batman comics. Because being rich is definitely great, but the powers in this case can range from low city street heroes up to catastrophical or disastrous dimensions. I mean, there's cases of like a character having the ability to turn into a giant, which is still pretty tame, while others can create firestorms, ice storms, use
Wow.
electricity. It's a huge range. I'm honestly not sure how well Batman could survive in this world.
Probably not too well.
Probably not too well, yeah. So I should mention it's set in the modern day Japan. Almost every human on Earth has a quirk, so a superpower, and there is a clear split in the story between heroes and villains, which is kind of the same as in the Us Known comics. And in the end of the day, the goal is to basically defeat this villain organization that tries to enter a dark age for the world.
Okay, so let me get this straight.
Yes.
There are people with this quirk, and do they decide? So they can decide if they are going to be villains or heroes, and it's basically like one group of people are the good ones, and the other are the bad ones, and they fight each other. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that basically sums it up. You can kind of imagine it like our everyday life. So there are
Mm-hmm.
everyone. Imagine it's a casual day. You are going to work or to study at the university, but the difference is everyone has an ability, and yet you can still decide: do you want an ordinary job, or do you want to follow the path of becoming a hero? And of course, there's still a criminal rate, which indicates that there's of course still people that try to do bad, like robberies or terrorism, anything.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds
It's like
like
our
real
world.
life.
Yeah, it's like our world, but with powers.
Yes, that's
Yes. And the police is kinda useless. So, as mentioned, our main character is Isekenmeier. It's a 16-year-old boy, and as that he was born without a power, a quirk, but received later on at the beginning of the story superpower. Basically, he can enhance his entire body. It's like you have to imagine Superman is basically an always active version of him. Because Superman is this idea of invincibility, a super strong hero, and he basically
mm-hmm.
can strengthen his body to do massive attacks. Attacks that can literally clear the sky of any clouds with just a shockwave of his fist. It's honestly insane. As said, he met the number one hero and became his student. And this power of him is called One for All, which is
Mm-hmm.
basically he is the strongest, and the idea of this quirk is to beat the hero that saves everyone. And as this ability has the chance to be transferred between users, he is the ninth user of this power.
So he's definitely supposed to be one of the good ones, and he
Yes.
has to like beat the villains and to beat this organization you've already mentioned
Yes,
about the
exactly.
villains. Okay,
Exactly,
so
exactly. It's luckily pretty simple to understand. So with this idea, how would you describe like the difference between Western heroes and the Eastern heroes that are known to us? Like what heroes do you have in mind when you think about this is a Western hero?
um, first of all, Batman, but also Superman. I think that's the most famous one.
Yeah.
Captain America as well. And I would say something that is very important for Western heroes is that they all have special uniforms, which are like this is the sign of the hero. Like you have Batman in that black suit with the bat ears, and also you have Superman with that blue top and the yellow and the red cape. Sorry, the red cape.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and also, I would also say that all of these heroes are they have like their comics and their movies where you can learn about their story, their own story, but they also are part of a bigger universe, I would say.
Yeah.
So, for example, Captain America is part of the bigger Marvel universe, which also consists of Spider-Man, Iron Man, uh, and all those heroes, which I find is very cool, very cool. So, I mean, I think that is very significant for Western heroes.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I really enjoyed the idea of each hero having their standalone movies or versions of the comics or version of universe in general. Like, I mean, it's starting off as Superman alone, Batman alone, Spider-Man alone, basically. But the idea of
Mhm.
this universe in which they can fight together, strive together for a greater good is really nice, I would say.
Yeah, and also I think superheroes I'm speaking about Western superheroes
Yes,
because
yes,
that's
yes.
what I know most about. But I would say they are like an inspiration for people,
Yeah,
um, because for example, Superman, he's like the ideal version of a man, and
definitely,
that's
yeah.
why that's why many people would say he's an inspiration. Or let's take Spider-Man for example. Spider-Man it starts off as an boy or yeah boy at the high school, and this is for people who read the comic or even watch the movies. This is very close to their own life, because they all because Spider-Man has to go through the same struggles, for example, at high school, but also at home with his family. So there is kind of it these heroes are kind of close to the reader or the person who watches the movies, and that's what I like about these Western heroes. But of course, they are always like an ideal or better version of or better form of the people, of course.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right with that. But while calling them a better version, I would say that's also the inspiration that they give us to be this better person.
Right, you're right, absolutely.
Absolutely. Perfect. Um, I think I'm gonna speak for the Eastern heroes in this case. Because all the heroes you can see on the right side are from the same creation, so they're all part of this My Hero Academia story. And
Oh wow,
it's
it's a lot.
massive. Yeah, it's massive. And while I think that Western heroes are more about being a singular individuum and having their own powers and goals that they try to achieve, My Hero Academia is more about the idea of humans being a community because they often end up fighting together, trying to end crime or defeating a villain with hand by hand. While Western heroes are more of a wider dimension in comparison. So
Hmm.
while we are watching Superman often struggling alone, in the eastern side we have, like, for example, the bottom half of the picture. Oh yeah, I should mention, the bottom picture is the main character in the middle, and every kid around him is his hero class. So these are basically his classmates that also try to become heroes. And it's often
Okay.
that we see them fight together to defeat one, two, three enemies at once.
Yes.
Because it's just used. It's just the theme they use here. When you can't do it alone, fight together. because together it's always easier and better.
Yeah, that's right. And I would say that this is a huge difference in comparison to Western
Yeah,
heroes, because in most comics, obviously, like let's take Batman, he's fighting alone. There is
yeah, definitely.
yes,
Batman also likes to say, "I rather fight alone."
yes,
When looking at the Justice League version, when they try to decide something together and Batman just leaves, yeah, I will do stuff on my own. It's just how it
true.
is. But of course, to have a clear definition or to have an idea of what people really think about this topic, we have once again or had a fan poll for the question, what is the difference of Western to Eastern heroes, or in this case, what is the difference between My Hero Academia and the Us Known Heroes? Which is like the idea, old comics are darker. And Western
Mm-hmm.
are more known to hide their identity because that's not really an issue in the East.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that, to be honest, but
Yeah,
that's
identity is a
obviously,
huge topic because I don't know, why didn't I think about that? Luckily, we have the fan base to answer our questions.
yeah, true.
But I think lots of these really compare their powers actually. They think that the Eastern heroes are more street level wise on powers, while the left side can erase reality. I mean, that's true for some cases, like, what was her name? Wanda? The Scarlet Witch, that was her name. She especially has the power to erase world, or Doctor Strange can change time and everything.
Yes,
So I understand the
right.
argument, but it's really often about the depiction of power, as we can see. Or I liked the bottom comment a lot, which basically just depicts Western heroes get powers from accidents, experiments, are aliens, like Green Lantern's
Yeah,
ability, and my hero is more about, yeah, heroes, superpowers are common, and it's more about heroism and the community and perseverance. So
yeah,
there's a clear split between individuality and community.
yeah. It's also, I think, when you consider this last comment you just read, it feels like Western heroes get their abilities by a more random way than
Yeah,
the Eastern
definitely.
heroes. Just for example, again, Spider-Man was bitten by a spider,
Yeah,
so
true.
this could be called an accident. So
I
this is
mean, it
completely
most
random.
likely is. I mean, we can also think about what other case. I mean, Green Lantern received his power randomly, for example. A spaceship happened to crash on Earth. He decided to look at the spaceship.
Yeah,
Suddenly, the ring attacked him. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I get that point definitely. So, um, you know, I am honestly quite a fan of the My Hero Academia franchise, and I really
Mhm.
enjoyed the writing of it as of now. So I decided to pick some panels that we could look at, and I would like to hear of you. What is the thing that is directly in your eyes? Like, what is spotting your attention?
Uh, I think there's a lot going on in these panels. But what is like catching my attention is the hero in the middle, this black hero raising his
Yes.
massive arm to the top. Um, that looks really cool. And also the hero, or is it a villain, on the left of the left side,
Uh,
left of the
on the left,
hero.
that's actually our main character.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Um, it looks ver- it looks like there's a lot going on. A very like I don't know, kind of an aggressive scene, like a fighting scene, like a fight has just been going on, or
Yeah.
a fight just ended. So this is what I thought about this scene.
Okay. Okay.
Um, uh, yeah, I think when you compare it to a Batman comic, I think there is not like, you don't see the main character being on the ground like you see on the bottom left.
Oh yeah.
Um, or yeah,
No, I
I don't
like your
know.
idea. I like your idea definitely. What I would like to say here is that, like a comment said earlier, the Western heroes have, people think they have a darker style of writing,
Yes.
but it's not really visual. I think it's not really visual in the comics how dark it usually is, which is why I like to look at these panels, because these panels are from different chapters each,
Mm-hmm.
and this idea, I think, will you show this to someone? Not many are able to tell that these people are supposed to be heroes. I mean, we have the one in the middle, sure, and this one most likely because it's a hero raising his hand after fighting the
Yeah.
most brutal fight of his life. Because this is the number one hero, this is the strongest one out there. And even he looks like he's about to die any second. Then we have the
So are
bot.
these
Yes.
are these panel always in black and white for My Hero Academia?
Yes, because that's very common in manga usually. There's always first a black and white version of Most, because it's easier to print and it just established to be the
Mm.
style in Japanese. But if you're lucky, there are also colored versions of like other manga, like One Piece for example. So it really depends on your style. But I think that while, as you now mentioned colors, I think that while the Western comics use colors, I think they
Yeah.
kinda lose the impact.
Yeah, yeah, I also want to talk about color. So because of this black and white, I think when you look at it, it kind of looks dark, definitely, because
Yes,
of the black and white. Um, and also when you look at the panels for each of them, like on the top right, there is
yes,
this hero. I think he's standing, he's raising his arm, but his shoulder is looking to the ground, and his head is also looking down to the ground. So this kind of gives you an image of there is something very heavy going on, and this gives me
yes.
like a dark vibe of the whole comic. And when I compare this to like a Batman comic, there are a lot of colors. Like there are yellow backgrounds or green backgrounds, and I don't think that in Batman you would see this very often. Like you see it in My Hero Academia, that there is the hero standing or sitting on the ground with his head down. So this is it gives you there
Yeah.
is a very dark
Yeah, I love that idea.
yeah.
I completely agree with that, because each panel also has the idea of saying once again, I am a hero, I will be your hero, because we can see it on the right, in the middle, in the left, everywhere. It's
Mm-hmm.
really about being a hero in this society, trying to save people. And even that's when the panel on the right bottom is catching the attention of us, because this hero there, that's the number 2 hero in the entire verse. And even he
Okay.
is struggling, as you can see. He looks pretty torn up, pretty beat up,
Yeah.
almost like he's about to pass out. And even he is saying that a wounded hero is always looking the scariest. So this
Yeah.
idea, it even, like, this also portrays the idea for me that a hero has the symbolism to fight until his very end, even if it means looking
True.
like a villain themselves, which we can see in basically almost every panel here.
Yeah.
So even if it means to look like a hero, you can, even if it means to look like a villain, you should fight to the very end to save the people around you. Which is why I want now you to look at the panel you mentioned earlier on the left of the big hero raising his arm. Like this on the left, as I said, is the main character actually.
Yeah.
And you have to imagine there, to give you a small insight, this is in the later half of the entire story.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you can imagine, it's the same in comics. There are different story arcs. An arc is basically a story aspect in this current where we are at. And you have to imagine a lot happened until this point. And during this arc, the main character looked like you can see him here. Do you think he looks like a hero at all?
I would say the same as the speech bubble does. Looking at him, you'd never guess he was a
Yes,
hero.
exactly.
That's absolutely right. So if there wasn't the speech bubble and there was like no indicator that this is the main character, I would never say this is the main character. So because you would never say this is a hero because he doesn't look like one. Um, but I kind of like that um, they use this way of showing a hero is fighting until its very end, even though he doesn't even look like a hero anymore. This is very interesting in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
I think
I think
it's
that's very
really
cool.
interesting. Yeah, it is definitely really cool. I really love that about the art. Because that's also where the art comes in. While the Western art style looks very soft, especially with the colors,
Hmm.
the black and white and the more defined panels. I mean, this is always everywhere a full panel shot, like it's a full page. And they
Hmm.
really try to get us with the detail, with rough sketchiness, with rough sketching, I mean, to demonstrate the heaviness of the situation or what is
Yeah,
going to happen next. Like this hero,
definitely.
like the main character here, a lot of shit, my bad, a lot of things went down, and you can basically imagine that the villain organization succeeded with their plan to bring chaos over Japan. So he
Hmm.
is basically striving around because they also try to get his ability one for all to use it.
Yeah.
So he left school, abandoned his friends, and is now constantly striving around to his city and fighting crime here and there without any break, defeating everyone, everything here and there, saving people. But since he is looking like a villain, and since everyone knows that the villain organization tries to get him, people are scared of him.
Hmm.
Even though he is saving them, they are scared of him, tell him to go away. And I mean, I think it's very emotionally draining. You are being the hero that has no rest, saves people that don't want you, and you are still going on.
That
Which
sounds
is
very dark.
it
That
is it
sounds very
it is
dark.
really dark. Which is also kind of our main difference between Western writing and this writing, because I think
Right.
the Western doesn't really use specific writing like that, where the hero is being completely beat up, being told
Hmm.
he is not welcome, useless, or even
Yeah.
ends up almost dying or losing body parts just to save someone.
Right. That's what I said before, because in Western comics or in the Western understanding of superheroes, they are the ideal, the savior of all people and in the comics or later than in the movies, of course. But in the comics, the people are always happy when they see the hero. They are always
Yeah.
getting hope when they see a hero, and they are happy because they know help is coming. But with this one, this is a clear difference. There is like they reject him, they want him to go away, and it is very dark, very dark.
Yeah, yeah, I completely love it. That's also a main difference I would like to mention, because even though comics definitely developed a lot from the
Hmm.
golden age to the
Yeah,
bronze age.
right.
The writing changed. Characters became more development, had more depth, backstories. It
Yeah,
became more human. But looking at the writing of My Hero Academia, I think it has a lot more facets. It has more variety, goes deeper into direction of what is heroism, how to portray heroism, like in this sense, even as we can be heroes as a community. Sacrificing yourself even more than you would usually expect, and in general, the idea of, yeah, the villains actually won and now it's like the last strand on saving this world. Like bottom right, for example, that's around one of in the last story string. This was the
hmm
second hero. He is basically about to die. He lost his arm there, to be honest.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, he lost his
You
arm
can
there.
see it.
Yeah, but he's pulling off like a final finisher move to at least win his battle, to save the society once again. It's the same
Yeah.
with the bottom left. In the bottom left, it's two brothers fighting, one trying to be a hero, and the other has succumbed to being a villain, and is basically terrorizing the damn Japan. It's interesting. I love a lot how deep it goes into different direction of heroism, struggles, any kind of trouble you can have, and what it means to actually rise up. Because this is not the end, of course. Even though this looks
Okay.
really dark now,
Yes.
I would like to portray you the path of our main character and why his writing captivated me the most. I mean, this is,
Okay.
you have to imagine, this is his beginning. Does he
Mm-hmm.
look scared to you?
It's hard to say because in the picture, in the panel on the left side,
Yes.
he looks like kind of a bit aggressive, but
Okay.
he's definitely running from a crowd of people, so I think he's scared, and that would also fit the picture on the bottom right, where he
Perfect.
definitely looks scared.
Perfect. Because that's, I like your interpretation here, because it's kind of the other way around.
Okay.
This on the top right is a villain that has the ability to turn into a slime, and he is basically devouring his childhood friend right now. These are the eyes that we can see, looking kinda
Mm-hmm.
scared, about to die. So even though this boy doesn't have an ability yet, and he is scared, as we can see in the bottom right, because don't forget, you read
Yeah.
from right to left. He is scared for his life,
Mm-hmm.
sees his friend, but even though he is scared and running with fear, he is trying to save his friend here without an ability at all. Being the very first indication in the series of what heroism truly is.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you
Right.
that in a moment, actually. Because his path is very long, of course. It's his meeting with the number one hero that he can decide to be a hero. His first steps, saying even though he is an idiot, he's trying his best to achieve even more. Having his first accomplishment at tournaments, at a school tournament, always saying he's about to give his best. Fighting his first real villain. Saving, um, sacrificing basically his arms to save this kid. Screaming he's a hero, doing his very best until the end. Alone, this transition alone, looking from the beginning, up here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a significant difference for you? Like his
I would
face, his expression, anything.
um I would say he became more. I think the fear is gone out of his face. So there's
Yes.
no fear anymore. And also, as you said, he's sacrificing his arms or his body. So I would say he like went from being afraid of villains to being extremely being extremely, all ready to sacrifice himself and to fight, even if it means that he is losing his own life or parts of his body. So I think this is a big transition
That's
from
that's a massive transition, I will say here. It's this very
absolutely.
difference that while at the beginning he was still full of fear, had doubts, didn't know how to become stronger.
Yeah.
We have this transition to here where he is convincedly fighting super villains, fighting with everything he has, becoming stronger, and now standing confident there on the right. This is also where I'm gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to show you the next three panels that are gonna spoiler you a tiny bit towards the end. Because this is his story. We have chapter 422, his mom
Yeah.
seeing on television how he is fighting his final battle, It's called Isekenmeier Rising, which also indicates this is his story, how he became the greatest hero known to world. He is running this run in comparison to the first one you have seen.
Yeah.
This I love this comparison and idea that his fear is gone and he's running with confidence. He
Yeah,
isn't looking down,
absolutely.
he isn't looking
No.
worried, scared. He is running with confidence towards the
He
villain. Yeah.
he looks like he's just running straight into the fight
Yes.
with just whatever is around him, he doesn't care. He's running into the fight, he's ready to fight, he's ready to sacrifice anything. Just go in there and fight. That's what he looks like.
Definitely. And you have to consider, I'm not sure if you can see it, but his body is completely bruised up. This fight has been lasting for hours. Maybe even a day or two. He's completely bruised up, his body's completely used up. And this is how we reach the end of his final punch, as mentioned, clearing the clouds of the sky to set a bright day for tomorrow.
That looks massive.
It is massive.
Ooh, shit.
And I have to tell you here that even though we talked a lot about superpowers and what use they have to be a hero, this is his final fight. And in this fight, there at the end, clearing the sky, his ability is actually lost.
He loses his ability.
He loses his ability. He loses his superpowers towards the end.
Oh, okay.
Which is, even here in this run already, he basically is already losing most of his powers. He's running towards the villain without his superpower.
Is it because the fight was so intense that he lost his ability at the end, or is there a lore reason? Is everyone in this universe?
Your idea counts to it. Your idea counts to it, but it's a lore reason with its ability. As said, it's transmission between users, and the power and the strength of his power became weaker basically. Which so we early on or in the middle of the story knew he is most likely gonna be the last user of it. So even though he has no power left, he still decided to be the hero he can be and defeat the villain as an ordinary human, which is, in my opinion, the most significant part of the writing of My Hero Academia. It has the idea of community, people being heroes together, and now here at the end. Remember, he was running at the beginning, at his first villain, without a power. He's running at his last villain, without a power. You don't need a power to become a hero in your daily life. Heroism is a lot more than being strong, having the power to do what the ordinary person can't do. It's about what you can do for the people around you. It's being the inspiration you can be. Yes.
Right. I would also say it's telling the reader of the manga that even without powers, you can be a hero, which means everyone can be a hero.
You are completely right with that.
And that's a beautiful idea, in my opinion.
It sure is. Because I love the inspiration and the writing that each of us can be a hero in our daily life. Inspire the people around us, help them however we can, and basically just grow together. You don't have to be special to make the day of others special.
Right, absolutely.
And what this boy specifically had was a dream. The dream to be a hero. So in the end,
and he fulfilled his dream.
Yeah, and he fulfilled his dream. He became, as the story said in the beginning, the greatest hero. That's also where I would argue you can analyze that dreams are one of the most important things people have. You should always keep your dream alive, because it's your fuel, your inspiration, your power to keep going on, and he perfectly demonstrated that.
I would agree on that. Absolutely. Yep.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I wasn't sure about what to do with my last slide for our podcast here today. But since we're already at it, as said, you don't have to be special to be a hero. There are no
Mhm.
specific ideas. All you have to be is an. It's really important to be an inspiration, which you can really see in each of them. Is it being angry that makes you a hero, or is it your redemption arc? Do you need enemies, freedom, anything? Each of us, no matter what, can be a hero, and the meaning, is specifically in manga series, is massive towards that.
Mhm.
So, thanks for your participation today, Jonas.
Thank you for your invitation, Kevin.
I hope you had fun.
It was really nice, a very nice insight on manga and My Hero Academia. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Perfect. Now, dear listeners, thanks for being here once again, and see you on the next volume of your favorite superhero podcast on the Thursday night. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yes.